万華鏡車輪眼
Prepare yourself, 10 Saiyan.
Smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you never miss a video. One of the reasons I really like that opening clip is because we actually never get an explanation as to what move or technique Jiren is using when he like goes into his eye power. Like when he does his eye power, it almost feels like there's a stand that comes out of nowhere and starts pummeling his opponents without them being able to see it. It's crazy, and that's kind of why I like that opening animation. But that animation does come from S.L.H Animation, who is the creator of Dragon Ball Super Dark Angel. That is right, today we are finally getting to part 2 of Dark Angel. If you guys missed part 1, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below and the top comment. Go ahead and check out part 1 because it is the beginning of this story. I'm going to give you a second to do that, and there we go. Today we jump into part 2, and it is going to get crazy. So last we left off, we have Broly turning into a Super Saiyan Blue fused with the Hikaru power, and he attacks Kuro, the Dark Angel, head on. Now, if you guys don't remember, Kuro was sealed by the Omni King, and now he is returned with the advent of the second Omni King, and it is Goku and Vegeta and Broly's job to seal him up before he gets too powerful, and that is exactly what they are going to attempt to do. So we begin this episode with Vegeta telling Goku that there is a need now to fuse. Usually Vegeta is against fusion, but at this point in time he's like, this is our only option. I'm not usually the one to first say it, you are, but let's go ahead and fuse. And Goku is also surprised as well, and he's willing to do it. Obviously, no matter what Goku said back in Dragon Ball Z, he's always up to fuse. And that's when they hear from King Kai, who warns them that their job was not to confront Kuro. Their job was to seal him up before he became too powerful. Now he is too powerful to seal up, and so they need to retreat and live to fight another day. But Vegeta actually does some thinking. I like that he's the strategic one, and he tells King Kai that, listen, right now Kuro is just beginning to understand and develop his powers. He is basically recharging because he has just been released. And at first I'm thinking, okay Vegeta, how are you knowing that? Are you just going to be talking out of your ass? But no, he explains that when Broly was punching Kuro and the shielding around Kuro cracked, that was a sign that Kuro is not at his utmost powerful, especially since Goku says that Kuro has the same sense and feeling as the Grand Priest. That means that at his ultimate power, he would be that strong as the Grand Priest. So right now, they may be able to do some damage to him and weaken him enough to seal him back up, but they need to do it now. King Kai understands this, but he doesn't believe that even with the supreme power of Gogeta, that's going to be enough to take on Kuro. But there is a second option, another fusion that they could do, basically stacking fusions that could be their only way out. This could be their only solution, and I cannot wait to see the results of this, because we actually cut at this point to the immensely pleasurable, smooth as fucking silk fight between Broly and Kuro, where Broly is shooting whatever he can at Kuro, but Kuro detonates all those blasts before they even reach him. Broly comes in with a haymaker, but Kuro stops it, and he is actually quite impressed as to how strong Broly actually is. At this point, we get into a flurry of animation where Kuro sends a dozen or so energy balls, key attacks at Broly, going through the air, and then we get this amazing scene. Check it out. Alright, so normally when a opponent in Dragon Ball shoots a volley of Ki Blast at their opponent, like 1,000 of them or so, just, you know, any of Vegeta's normal techniques essentially, usually we don't see what happens. Usually we just see an explosion and the character just keeps shooting into that explosion and that dust. Doesn't really see what's going on, doesn't see where his Ki Blasts are hitting. And so after that, they get blindsided because they can't see their opponent. That's usually how these go. This one goes where these Ki Blasts are actually acting like homing missiles and they're following Broly and he is punching them away from him, but then he realizes there's too many of them, and this is where time stops and he is able to, in just a few seconds, punch a bunch of them away into hyperdrive, but he doesn't get all of them and gets hit with one, throwing him back. Now at this point, Broly is cornered by these Ki Blasts and they are all surrounding him, about to annihilate him completely, or at least do significant enough damage. And that is when Goku comes in with instant transmission and takes Broly away. And we realize that wasn't Goku, that was actually Gogeta. And I honestly love this part where Broly's like, "It's you? But what are you?" I love that he's in shock to see Gogeta, because it almost feels like he hasn't seen Gogeta since Gogeta almost killed him back in Dragon Ball Super Broly. So the shock on his face is understandable. And this is where we get to the really crazy stuff. So we find out that Gogeta, or Goku, has taught Broly the fusion dance. So right now they are going to stack fusions. They already have Goku and Vegeta fused together into Gogeta. Now they are going to use Gogeta and Broly and fuse them together into a single entity. And Kuro is looking for Broly, theorizing whether he ran away, but that doesn't seem to fit Broly's style. Maybe he just disappeared. And that is when we get the fusion at long last, and it just looks so cool. The entire transformation sequence almost feels like when the Power Rangers go into the Megazord, or the equivalent happens in Voltron, where all these pieces are coming together to form one single being, which is really, really cool. And the effects of the Ki breaking like glass, like shattering their limits, is palpable. This is fucking awesome. And we finally get to see the big boy himself. Not sure what his name is because I'm watching this with you guys at the moment, but this character absolutely looks like a fusion between all three of them. Kuro attacks him sensing danger, sensing a real threat. He attacks him right away, only to have his attack completely cut into pieces by this new fusion, who has a look of Gogeta but with Broly's shirt. And that is where he finally introduces himself as the ultimate power of what the fusion of Saiyans can produce. And that is the combined power of Goku, Broly, and Vegeta. A triple fusion that is called Brokuta. And that is where he faces off against Kuro. And that is the end of part 2, with part 3 coming on the way, which should be coming soon. I cannot wait to see it and review it. Make sure you guys subscribe to S.L.H Animation, to their channel, to make sure to check out and be up to date to when episode 3 finally drops. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and if you made it to this point in the video, you are now part of the hashtag End of Video Squad. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Make sure to drop that comment with that hashtag for a chance to be featured in my next video. Today, I'm going to be responding to SSG Isaiah. This dude isn't cultured at all. DBZ is probably the least sexualized in anime in my opinion, and also there's a ton of anime out there that just revolves around, you know. Exactly, DBZ is not an issue when it comes to that. It's not even one of the biggest ones. There's so many more anime that actually have a serious problem. Like, don't even get me started on certain animes, guys, because I can go off on some anime that just push too much in that direction. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. This guy doesn't know what the hell he was talking about, and that's the reason I made the video in the first place. Thank you so much for your comment. This is going to be BlackScape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.